guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Intuitive Angling. And man, I really appreciate you guys coming by the channel, spend some time with me on the video today. And I have been wanting to do this video a long time, and I sort of like, I went back and forth whether I wanted to do it or not, because it's going to be a little edgy and a little controversial. But I decided to do it after thinking about this. I think it's the right thing to do. And I want to have a discussion today, guys. Now, I want your opinion on this. Is the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame sort of a good old boys who you know club, instead of having the rightful people in that particular Hall of Fame? I want to sort of make a couple good points on this thing and to have a discussion about it. I think once I get into this video, you'll understand what I'm talking about, why it's a topic worth discussing. And I want to get your guys' opinion on this, because ultimately, you know, the fans of the sport are what this Bass Fishing Hall of Fame is all about. So we're going to get into that today's video. Also, guys, before we get started, just a couple quick housekeeping tips. Just wanted to thank everybody that's taken time to hit that subscribe button here at Intuitive Angling. I really appreciate that, guys. We have experienced some incredible channel growth here over the last 6 months. Thank you very much for that. And also, guys, thank you very much for everybody that supports Intuitive Angling by using all the links I put in my channel descriptions, every video. If you guys are using those links and subscribing to the channel, a big thank you from me and my family. We really appreciate that. Okay, guys, first of all, this is going to be it's sort of weeding my way through this video here, because I'm sort of, as I'm doing the video, I'm sort of thinking about, I didn't prep for this or anything. It's just coming off the top of my head. First of all, I want to say, if you have not been to the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame here in Springfield, Missouri, at the National Aquarium there at Bass Pro Shop, you got to do it, guys. It is an incredible display. It's like, kudos to Johnny Morris and Bass Pro Shop for creating that space. It is a beautiful, absolutely a beautiful, place to be. It's like the memorabilia that's there is thick with nostalgia. I just love it. I could spend hours and hours going through that Bass Fishing Hall of Fame because I'm a fan of the sport. And I take the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame very seriously. I think it is a necessary, critical, crucial thing that we have got in our sport here. But to be honest with you guys, I'm concerned about it. I have tried to look at this over the past 5 years from a very, very fair, open-minded point of view. And from what I see in the nominees and the people that are inducted into the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, there are a lot of people that deserve to be in there, that are in there, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of people in there that I simply question why they're in there, because there are other people that are far more deserving by that, as far as people that should be in that organization. Okay, let me give you a prime example here. The Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, if you haven't seen it, it's a combination of the professional bass anglers and some industry people that are in the Hall of Fame there. And first of all, let's talk a little bit about the professional anglers there. Let me give you a prime example about something that is just bullshit, in my opinion. Ron Sheffield. If you follow bass fishing, you know who Ron Sheffield is. He has won 7 Bassmaster tournaments. He's won over $1 million in Bassmaster. He's had a stellar career, on the FLW tour, one of the top money winners there. He is a legitimate hammer superstar in the sport. And he's in his late 60s, and he's not in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. Guys, if you go through the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame right now and just pick out the professional anglers in there, and you look at the professional anglers that are in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, and you look at their statistics, their stats, and you put them next to Ron Sheffield has better stats statistically as a professional angler than 50% of the guys that are in there. Why is Ron Sheffield not in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame? Answer me that. Why are there people in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame that have a fraction of the credentials as Ron Sheffield, but they're in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame? It's not just Ron. There's a lot of anglers out there, guys. I can name probably, just off the top of my head, 24 pros that I know about that are not in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame that have better statistics than the Bass pros that are in there. On top of that, I have to question why all these other tournament non-bass angler people are in there? Why are these TV producers in there? Why are these people that you've never heard about in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame? They may have made some contribution to the sport over the long term, but again, I can name dozens of different people that have made a bigger impact in the sport of fishing than some of the people that are in there right now. And from all rights, from what I can see, I think it's a legitimate question to pose: is the board of advisors, the board of advisors on the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame that actually select who is in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, is it a good old boys club? Is it a bias thing? Are they putting their buddies in there? Are they putting the people that they want in there? Are they pressured by other people to put, are they pressured by people that are influencers within the industry to say, I want to see this person in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame? Where's the transparency with that? Another thing with that is when you're talking about this, entire topic, it's like, who actually deserves to be in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame? As far as how broad of a tent is this, in terms of what is the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame meant to be? In my opinion, the main people in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame should be tournament anglers. They are what bass fishing, they are what enabled bass fishing to get to be a household sport. There are some other people in there that, deserve to be in there. People like Ray Scott, people like Jerry McInnes, power brokers within the sport that had a huge influence on it. But guys, if you go through the list, I'll tell you right now, if you go to Bass Pro Shops there at the National Aquarium, go through the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, they've got every inductee on the board there. You go through each one of those and you read their plaque that says why they're in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame and what they've done, you will understand what I'm talking about. A lot of it just doesn't make any sense. Ultimately, the advisory board, the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame advisory board, should not be picking who is in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame. The bass fishing public should be selecting who is in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, not the advisory board. If you have hundreds of thousands of bass anglers across the country that vote on this, who do you want to see in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame? Those are the legitimate nominees and the legitimate, inductees that should be in there, not what some clandestine good old boy, advisory board decides that goes completely against statistical reality. I want to know how they justify that. You tell me, just going back to Ron Sheffield is just a microcosm of this. He's one little tiny example. But just answer me about Ron Sheffield. Why in the hell is Ron Sheffield not in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame? And why is 30 other guys in the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame that do not have Ron Sheffield's credentials? Ron Sheffield wasn't on steroids. He didn't gamble or anything. He had a stellar, exemplary career, and he's not in there. So that is really, that's why I wanted to do this video. It's like when I got thinking about Ron, it just sort of tipped me over the edge a little bit, because I've seen there's been dozens of other people similar to Ron that I've sort of just like sloughed it off a little bit. But when I thought about that, and I live here in Springfield, pretty close to the place, so I go up there all the time. But when I go through that Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, and I see some of the people in there, that it makes me, how do they deserve to be in here when other people, dozens of other people, have better qualifications or they've done more for the sport? Doesn't make any sense. So I want to know what you guys think about it. You guys, let me know what your opinion is on this. I'd really be curious to get the vibe from the bass fishing community. And thanks for tuning in. We'll talk later.